Oh no, he left the headset. That was the sound of his headset shutting off. Let me get this headset out of my ear. Speaking of headsets. Hey, Mike Stanfield. Hey, Mike Stanfield. Mike Stanfield. We got another one for you. Have you guys heard about this 15-year-old? He had a family of 5, right? He had siblings and a mom and a dad, and there was 5 of them. He homeschooled. They're all told that the evils in the world are all outside. Excuse you? No, honey, you're raising the evil in the fucking world, okay? This kid took them all out. And then he tried to set shit up to frame his 13-year-old little brother. Who was already dead. His 11-year-old little sister found the strength and the courage to fake dead. She was absolutely still not breathing. He even came back and checked to make sure he had the job done. She was shot. And she played dead. And the first chance she got up, she called the cops and she totally blew his cover. Yeah. And the brother, he hopes to be out by the time he's 25. Yeah. No. Why is that? Huh? You tell me why he thinks he's going to be out while he's still in his 20s. Alright, now I'm pulling this up to show you, okay, because I messed up, alright? It was not a family of 5, though it was 5 that were killed, okay? They were a family of 7, okay? He killed 3 of his siblings and both his parents. The other sister that's 11, she played dead, like the shot that when he shot her, it did the job. Although, she found the strength to fake like it didn't hurt. I don't know how an 11-year-old was able to do that, but my God, good on her. And rest in peace to this family. And I hope this 15-year-old does not get out in 10 years like he thinks he will. He thinks he's going to be out by the time he's 25, you guys. And it's because of people like Gypsy Rose and how the justice system works. And people they could end up longer for fraud. They could end up in there longer for fraud. Listen. Let me turn on my speaker. Okay?
In Mary, today we learned that the 3 siblings who died were all under the age of 13, with their own brother accused of methodically killing them and then staging the scene to make it look like one of them committed the murders. According to prosecutors, this case was cracked open by 2 very different 911 calls. One of them was made by the 15-year-old suspect. Before sunrise, they say he called 911 and said it was his brother who committed these murders before taking his own life. According to court documents, the boy told authorities his brother was about to get in a lot of trouble for looking at pornography. So to get out of any punishment, the murders happened. Prosecutors, though, believe it was all a lie. Court papers, they point to a second 911 call in this case, made by the suspect's 11-year-old sister. That little girl was also shot, but survived. In the aftermath of the shooting, prosecutors say she ran to a neighbor's home for help, and in a 911 call, she reported that it was her 15-year-old brother who had shot her and everyone else, not her other brother, who was now dead. That 15-year-old now faces 5 counts of first-degree murder as well as 1 count of attempted murder. Those who knew this family, including one of the victim's soccer coaches, told Promo that the family always seemed incredibly close-knit.
You thought they were perfect. That's what I like from the outside. They look perfect to me.
The charges come as we learned the names and the ages of those who died. The parents were Mark Humiston and his wife Sarah, both in their 40s. As for the siblings who died, Benjamin Humiston was only 13, Joshua Humiston only 9, and Catherine Humiston only 7. And talking about how authorities believe that the scene was possibly staged, they say they found a possible murder weapon in the hands of that 13-year-old boy who died, yet forensic and physical evidence shows that there was never any shots fired by that boy. That's what authorities believe, by the way. That 15-year-old suspect will be back in the courtroom tomorrow afternoon. Come to you live from Seattle tonight.
Let me show you another one. You ready?
The 15-year-old accused of shooting and killing his parents and 3 siblings in Falls City appeared in court today. He was charged Thursday after he was booked on 5 counts of murder in the first degree and 1 count of attempted murder. According to court papers, his 11-year-old sister survived by playing dead after he shot her. Good evening, and thank you for joining Fox 13 News at 10. I'm Frankie Thompson.
And I'm Warren Donovan. That young girl escaped and is now at home with loved ones. Fox 13's Dave Detling joining us now in the newsroom to show us what happened inside the home.
Good evening. Well, before we begin, we want to warn you the details in this case are disturbing and may be upsetting for some people to hear. And during today's hearing, no plea was entered. Prosecutors instead made the formal request to have this case heard in adult court instead of at the Juvenile Justice Center.
Your Honor, sir. Now,
In court Friday, defense attorney for the 15-year-old accused of killing 5 of his family members told the judge community members who know the defendant have reached out, speaking of his good character.
To describe him as kind and caring, someone who has friends who engages in pro-social activities, someone who's been a positive contributor to his community.
Box 13 is not showing the suspect's face as per the judge's order. On Monday morning, King County deputies arrived at the Humiston family home on Lake Ellis Road Southeast. Inside, they found 5 members of the family shot to death. 43-year-old Mark Humiston, his wife 42-year-old Sarah, and 3 of their children, 13-year-old Benjamin, 9-year-old Joshua, and 7-year-old Catherine. The suspect's 11-year-old sister said he shot at her too. A bullet hit her in the hand and neck. Court documents state she held her breath, played dead, and waited for her brother to leave the room before escaping through a fire window and running to a neighbor's home for help. The first 911 call came from the Falls City home with the 15-year-old sounding out of breath. He told dispatch his brother, quote, just shot my whole family and committed suicide too, adding he made the 911 call 10 to 15 minutes after the last shots were fired. Investigators say he staged the scene in an attempt to blame his younger brother for the crime, but deputies say evidence led to the teen's arrest.
We would like to request that the respondent participate in a JJAD health assessment so that we can understand what his needs are while in detention.
Back in court Friday, a mental health examination was requested, but objected to by the teen's attorney. So what happens next? There's a community meeting in Falls City scheduled for tomorrow. The details are there on your screen. The 15-year-old will remain in custody until a decision is made on whether to move this case to adult court or keep it in the juvenile court system.
You tell me why he thinks he's going to be out while he's still in his 20s. I'm telling you, Gypsy knew that she would have got longer for fraud. Her mom probably rubbed it in her face on the daily. If you leave, you can get charged for fraud. But you're in on this too. You're in this too. I bet they thought about it all the time. And she probably did have to go out and get supplies to take care of her mom. And if the neighborhood saw her out walking about, she would have been in trouble. And they both would have been in jail, looking at each other all that time. There's people sitting in prison 20 plus years for fucking fraud. Okay? And she gets to get away with it scot-free. Joining the Special Olympics and everything, she just gets to get away with it. Scam to make a She scammed the Make-A-Wish Foundation 3 times over, and it's just, oh well, who cares? So what? It brought in money in the time. It brought in viewers and money at the time. It would bring in more money and viewers if you go back to the subject. I hate that that's what it's about, but that seems to be all of what it's about. Which is disgusting. They just, why is it so bad that people watch? How come it's hate that makes people money these days? Yeah, that's how you get famous and rich. You gotta get people to hate you. If they can't engage on the hate, they don't even want to subscribe. They just want to engage in on the hate. And if you're not somebody that they could poke fun at and get enjoyment out of it, they don't want to stick around. And if they do, they're only just going to stick around to hate watch, and they ain't hitting that subscribe button. Because you don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. Never have, never will, never. I have one member that I love dearly, and I don't want to lose them. And I am with every post. I shit you not. Call it pathetic if you will. It's with every fucking post. I sit there and I say, is this going to be the one? Is this going to be the one that makes me lose the one person that's trying to help me get up there? There's one person trying to help me get up there. I haven't got nothing else out of them other than a view and, the helpful, uplifting comments that are helping my confidence build up, and I'm hoping to get over the stage fright at some point. As far as when it comes to money and people saying things like, oh, well, you keep the channel alive, you keep the channel running. If it wasn't for your thanks, I wouldn't be able to stick around. And you know what? Not their thanks. They say if it wasn't for your donations, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. I do what I do even without those donations. I've gotten a few super thanks, but I've not been able to collect on them yet because, it's not reached the threshold. And if you look, I've been waiting since May. Yes. just spreading the message. That's all I've been doing for years. I'm just here to spread a message. Okay? And I don't have ads running on my channel because I don't know how to get them running. I'm counting on somebody in the world to, open their hearts to my open heart. And a person eventually gets to the point where, like, all the waiting in the world isn't going to make it happen. I've got to find a way to make people hate me, I guess. According to the Brazilian Jenkins, that's what's gotta be done. I've got to think of something really stupid that's going to make people hate me. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a sellout like that. I don't want to be hated. I would rather be known for doing the right thing. But doing the right thing ain't get me anywhere. So I'm asking you, please click the subscribe button. Show me that there are people out there that do care. There are people out there that do have a heart. They are on the side of morality. I'm not in it alone. I'm not in this fight all alone. Show me we're in on this together.
A mother, father, and 3 of their children are shot in cold blood, and detectives say the couple's 15-year-old son is to blame for the heinous crime. I have the disturbing details out of Washington State and how the teen's sister escaped the horror. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. A 15-year-old boy is in jail in King County, Washington, facing charges for the premeditated murder of his parents and 3 younger siblings.
Their
His 11-year-old
house?
sister survived,
Jesus.
and I'm going to tell you how very shortly. This crime has shocked the community in Falls City, Washington, outside of Seattle. Documents charging the 15-year-old with the murders say on Monday, October 21st, he called 911 with a cover story blaming his 13-year-old brother Benjamin for the murders. An affidavit says, Humiston sounded out of breath and stated, he just shot my whole family and committed suicide too. During the ensuing conversation with the 911 operator, Humiston stated that his brother, BDH, had killed their family and taken himself out, and that he, Humiston, was currently hiding in the bathroom on the main floor of the house. Humiston stated that a possible motive for Benjamin Humiston killing everyone is that he had been caught looking at pornography the night before, and that he was about to get into a lot of trouble. At the same time, the teenager's 11-year-old sister had run to a neighbor's home. She told the neighbor that her brother had shot her and her family members, and that she played dead by holding her breath and then escaped through a window. The girl told investigators that her brother had recently gotten into a lot of trouble for failing some tests at school. She described her father as keeping a Glock pistol in a small lockbox, which he would sometimes put by the front door so he could bring it to work. The sister told interviewers that, of all the children, her brother was the only one who knew the combination to the Glock lockbox. Investigators noted in the affidavit that the 13-year-old brother, Benjamin Humiston, that's the younger brother, the 15-year-old accused shooter, had blamed in the 911 call, had died of multiple gunshot wounds. But they found Benjamin with a gun in his hand. The affidavit said a black Glock handgun was in his left hand that was lying on his chest. No apparent blood spatter was observed on Benjamin Humiston's left hand or the Glock. In the master bedroom, I saw a large amount of blood on the carpet to the right of the bed. The blood continued into the ensuite bathroom. The door frame of the bathroom was splintered as if it had been locked, then forced open from the bedroom side. On the back of the bathroom door were several areas of blood that appeared to be handprints. Jennifer Humiston, the mother of the children, was found dead in the bathroom and died from 2 gunshot wounds. Her husband, Mark, the father of the children, had been shot 4 times. Joshua, who was 9, and Catherine, who was 7, had also been shot. Neighbors told local media that the children were homeschooled and that the family was active in the community and they seemed perfect. Mark Humiston worked for an engineering firm in Seattle. The company released a statement to the AP saying, "We are blindsided and saddened by the tragic events that have led to the loss of a respected colleague, mentor, and friend, as well as the loss of immediate family members. Mark's leadership and vision were integral within our firm, and he will be greatly missed." As the community and family members mourn the loss of the Humistons and try to care for the surviving daughter, it's not clear whether the teen will be tried as an adult, although that's what prosecutors want. A status conference for the teen's case is set for January, and the process to determine whether the teen's case will be moved to adult court could take up to a year. Philip DeBay works as court-appointed counsel in California. Philip, this case, the allegations are absolutely awful. We have a 15-year-old boy accused of murdering, slaughtering his entire family, except for his sister who played dead. I mean, and he's accused of doing this in a very cold and premeditated fashion.
Oh, yeah. And I'll be honest with you, Anjanette, I've seen a lot of homicides in my career, but this one is up in the top 5 as taking the cake. This is 5 deaths. The parents, 3 siblings, and a 4th sibling, through the grace of God, survived. We don't see these very often. Now, granted, we do see plenty of child deaths where the leading cause is by firearm. In fact, I think just this year alone, we're not even at the end of the year, there have been 1,100 child deaths because of firearms. And I believe there's been over 450 mass shootings. So the real question is, why is this happening? And by the way, that data is per the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. They keep statistics on this, and I think it's through the hospitals across the country. But the real question is, why is it happening? Is it that kids are running amok, mental illness, are parents failing to keep their firearms locked up? In this particular case, Dad kept the lock box away from the reach of the kids, but this one particular kid had a combination, was able to open it up, and of course committed the deed. So it's just a horrific tragedy. The only question that really remains is, where is this child going? Will he remain in the juvenile jurisdiction, or will he go upstairs to adult court, where he could face 25 to life in prison and potentially never get out?
The stories I cover each day here on Crime Fix show you just how scary the world can be, and one of the scariest things that can happen is if you ever get hurt.
How could someone shoot at their own mother? Do people realize too, Gypsy Rose also shot at her mother, and had it not have been a BB gun, Dee Dee would have been taken out a long time ago. And she would have just jumped in the wheelchair and just said, oh, the guy just ran off. It couldn't have been me. And poor old me. Little me, and I'm in a wheelchair. I can't do anything. I can't do nothing. I can't fend for myself. I'm just another victim. That's Gypsy's mentality.
Have to go through. It's a process. So nothing is going to be released about this case. No 911 calls, nothing, until it's determined whether he will be tried as an adult. As long as it stays in juvenile court, all of that stuff stays secret. The judge has even ordered that this teen's name not be released, even though we know his name. So there's a lot going on with this case still. What's laid out in these documents, though, Philip, is so cold and calculated. They say that he basically, this teenager, 15-year-old boy, tried to frame his younger brother for the crime and tried to basically say, my younger brother did this. They're saying he put the gun in his younger brother's hand. Younger brother was shot multiple times. He's trying to say, my brother killed everybody and took his own life. That takes a lot of calculation and thought. What is going on with this 15-year-old kid? He's been defending people for years and years. I mean, what is going on here?
Well, it's precisely what has to be developed while we're still under the juvenile jurisdiction.
Takes a lot of
Within
hatred,
14
too.
days of the filing of the charging document, the prosecution must do what's called a declination hearing or a decline hearing. Sometimes in other states we call it a transfer hearing. During that time, the court decides who will retain jurisdiction over the kid. Will they decline juvenile jurisdiction over the minor or send him upstairs to adult court?
You know what,
And,
you
the court
guys?
has to engage.
Wait. You know what, you guys? I don't think that fucking homeschool bullshit's working. Yeah, no, I don't think it's working. Look at the long-term repercussions that have already been happening. Yeah? Just like the fucking butt weapons and timeout, it don't work. It don't work. It's not working. Try something else. Try again. And if you're someone who cares to hear anything else I might be bitching about, click on my subscribe button. Stick around. Show me we're in on this together. There go the neighbors again.